My name is Brandy, and this is my story. My childhood was a mess. It was filled with drug abuse, alcohol abuse, domestic violence, sexual abuse, on several occasions by different men. My mother met a man in Georgia when I was 4, and we moved to Florida. That's when my life turned around, and we had some normalcy for quite a few years. This man became my father and raised me. My parents split up when I was 13. Chaos resumed. I tried to commit suicide. I thought about it daily. I began running away, sneaking out. I got drunk for the first time, not just drunk, blackout drunk. At 14, when I ran away, I was raped. I was going to keg parties and running with older men. At that time, I had experienced marijuana, and I liked it. All through the while, I remained in school. I was a good student. I loved learning. I was in honors classes. I became pregnant at 15 years old and had my firstborn son when I was 16. I was so proud. He was my pride and joy. By my senior year in high school, I was experiencing hard drugs. However, I had my own apartment, my own car. I was a single mother. And the day I walked across the graduation stage, I was pregnant with my second child. I was also in college at the time while I was in high school. Not only was it the drug use, the reason why I had to drop out of college, being a single mom was hard. I had a lot of stressors, and I was the only support for my son. At 22, I got a really good job. I've always been independent. And then at 25, I broke my ankle and became addicted to pain pills. For the next 3 years, I was dependent on pain pills. I ended up losing my job. I got really heavy into drug use. I started using my pills intravenously. The drug use led me to losing my kids, my home, my possessions, everything. I stayed addicted for about a year. I had so much shame and guilt. It was very overwhelming, and I had lack of support. I was alone. I didn't have God in my life, and I was completely lost. I always wanted a relationship with God, but I didn't know how to do that. And I had no one to show me how to know Jesus. I finally mustered up the courage to fight for my kids, and I got them back. I got them back. After I got them back, I met a man, and I became pregnant with my third child, a little girl. And in 2015, her and her father was in a car accident, and he died. And my little girl, 17 months old, was fighting for her life. I was a single parent. I had 2 kids at home and a daughter who was in the hospital fighting for her life out of town. All the while trying to hold it together for my children and figure things out. I held it together about 3 months. And I got back on drugs. This time, I lost my children and I did not get them back. My dad and my stepmother took in my children, which led to them adopting my little girl who has traumatic brain injury and is forever changed. It was so hard for me that I didn't fight for her. I couldn't take care of her. I couldn't be the mother. I thought the shame and guilt of losing my kids the first time was a lot. This was off the charts. I was so lost, so broken. I did not have Jesus in my life. And I stayed completely strung out for 3 years. No contact with my family. No contact with my children. Nobody came looking for me. Nobody called to see if I was hungry, if I needed a shower. I'm praying for you. We love you. Let us help you. I was left on the streets. During that time, I met a man who was also completely strung out. We bonded over that. He fed my addiction and I fed his. We got pregnant in 2019 after being together 3.5 years. That's why I got clean. I didn't want this baby to have a mother addicted to drugs or see me strung out like my other children did. So I got my life together and so did he. We became homeowners. We bought a land. I got me a job. I stayed at home. He was a good man for a while. And I have been clean from drugs since September 9th, 2019. But I still had a vice. I had my medical marijuana card. You know, that was okay. I was still sober. I wasn't doing hard drugs. In this relationship, he was very narcissistic. I ignored all the signs because I said, it's just the drugs. They were always there, but I blamed it on the drugs. Once he gets clean, it will be better. Once we have this child, it will be better. And it wasn't. The control, the verbal and emotional abuse, the financial abuse, the isolation. I had nobody but him. I just didn't see a way out. I was completely dependent on this man. And I wanted everything for our family to work because I never had that with my other children. And I also knew to start praying. I needed Jesus in my life. Always talked about going to church. Let's go to church. He always said he would, but there was always an excuse. I prayed that prayer for 2 years. Lord, you have to help me. I have no way out. I am completely dependent on this man, and I have absolutely zero support to get out, and I have a small child. You have to help me. The man that became my father had been diagnosed with cancer, and he had been fighting it for a couple years at this time. He fought so hard. In July of 2024, we found out he had cancer and it had spread to his brain. I began drinking. In November of 2024, him and his team of doctors decided to stop the cancer treatment. And he was given 4 months to live, and we kept him at home. I began drinking every day. After work, on the weekends, it went from beer, it escalated to liquor. In December 2024, I was pulled over and I went to jail for DUI, child neglect. I had my 4-year-old son with me. While I was out on bond, 67 days later, I went to jail again for DUI. This time I wasn't getting out. My bond was revoked. This arrest made a total of 14 arrests. I was sentenced to prison for 13 months. When I got to prison, I was so hard on myself. How could I do this? Why am I here? The shame and the guilt, and just there was no way for me to fix what I've done. I am now in prison away from my 5-year-old child who I had to leave with his father. All that pain, shame, and guilt I had experienced from losing my previous children was back in full force. For 2 weeks, I just was a basket case. I cried all the time. I just could not stop thinking about what I had done, how I could have killed my child, how I could have been in prison for the next 30 years. Then one day, I was invited to a boundaries class in chapel. I knew nothing about this class, but I figured, why not? I want to get out of the dorm. So I went. And that's where I met Miss Nicole and Mr. Randy. I couldn't get enough of that boundaries class. I literally wrote down everything she said, and she didn't put everything on the whiteboard as notes, but I wanted to know everything. I wanted to study what this woman told me. From the very first time I met Miss Nicole, she was full of love and unconditionally loved me. She seen me as a child of God. She didn't see what I had done. She didn't even know what I did, why I was in prison. I ended up taking Miss Nicole's boundaries class twice. I always came in chapel with my pen and my notebook ready to take notes. Not only did I do her boundaries class twice, but I also did spiritual warfare. I had never heard of spiritual warfare at all, ever in my life. It was so powerful. Not only did I take the notes, but I would also bring them back to my dorm and study and reread them at my bunk. I was passing my notebooks around and people wanted my notes. Even though they weren't going to her classes, they would come get my notes and copy them. And I would share, and I would want people to come. I just wanted everybody to know how much her classes are needed. I also faithfully attended Mr. Randy's recovery class, and it felt so good because I resonated with Mr. Randy. Again, there was no judgment. He saw me for who I am. He knew the struggle of addiction, and he also knew how to overcome it. And he was such an inspiration. I too wrote down everything he said. He is hilarious, and I just love hearing him talk. Mr. Randy and Miss Nicole faithfully loved me and ever so gently grabbed my hand and walked me to Jesus. I didn't know how to have a relationship with Jesus, but I knew my entire life I wanted it. And that's what they taught me. They taught me that I am forgiven. Jesus does love me, and he doesn't remember my sins as far as from the east to the west. So why should I? Not only did Miss Nicole lead me to have a relationship with Jesus, but she also baptized me. And I'll never forget that day. When I came up out of that water, all the labels that I had put on myself and society and my family had put on me were gone. I was truly forgiven. And when I came up out of that water, I had such a joy and peace inside of me, still to this day I can't describe. To let you know how awesome God is, to make it full circle, Mr. Randy presented me with my 1-year sobriety medallion at the same place that he got sober 37 years ago. That's how good God is. He knows exactly what he's doing. When Mr. Randy presented me my 1-year medallion, that is the longest complete sobriety time with no vice whatsoever since I was 14 years old. Without meeting Miss Nicole and Mr. Randy in the Jesus Infusion Ministry, I would be a mess. I wouldn't have a relationship with Jesus. I wouldn't have a spiritual mom and dad. I would still be broken with shame and guilt. I'm telling you all this because the Jesus Infusion is powerful, it's real, it's authentic, and they are doing God's work. And that's who they are. That's who they are in prison, and that's who they are outside of those walls. The Jesus Infusion Ministry needs funding to continue to help the women in prison.